everybody, this is Tina. Welcome to my video today, you guys. This would usually be my Monday video, but I'm participating in a blog hop, so my video is going up a little bit early. I am participating in the Carols of Christmas blog hop with some other demonstrators, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys. This is a stamp set and a die set that, as a demonstrator, I was able to pre-order, which means I was able to order it sooner than customers, and it's from our holiday catalog. I was just able to see the holiday catalog this week. Demonstrators got to see it, and it's fabulous. It has me dreaming of Christmas and cooler weather and the holidays much more than I already was. So today we're going to use this stamp set and the die set to create a card, and I'm really excited. I haven't put ink to paper in about a week, and I'm really excited to create with you guys. So this stamp set is actually a stamp set that you can get for free when you join Stampin' Up. So this month, which there's only today and tomorrow left for this promotion, when you join Stampin' Up, you spend $99, you get $125 in product, you get an essentials starter pack, which consists of a bone folder, paper snips. My paper snips are way over on the other side. You get 2D blocks, which is what this is. You get a set of grid paper and a snail, so an adhesive like this. So you get all of that, and then on top of it, you get this stamp set, which is pretty amazing. So if you're interested in joining Stampin' Up, today and tomorrow are the last 2 days that you can get that amazing deal and do that, and I would love to have you as part of my team. So right away, get in contact with me if you're interested in that. So today we're going to use this stamp set. We're using Peace on Earth as our sentiment, and that's the only stamp that we're using. And then for the die, we're going to use this little guy right here. And I'm even going to do some heat embossing, which I know what I wanted to do was create a card that maybe you could mass produce, like if you wanted to create a lot of them. And sometimes we don't always think that embossing is a good idea if we want to mass produce something, but this is going to be really simple. So what I have is I have a Versamark ink pad, I have an embossing buddy, and then I have some white embossing powders. So all I've done, this right here, it says hello there, and I've just embossed a circle onto some black cardstock, and I have it on top of my container that holds my white embossing powder. So I always get these stamps. I'm going to use the music sheet stamp set. And I always get this in clear melt, and then I don't even put the sticker on it because I don't mind just laying it down on my surface. These are so big that I don't always find that I need to stick it on a block. And then if I do, I can just stick it on a block and it doesn't matter. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to put some powder all over this cardstock. And we're going to use Crumb Cake, Cherry Cobbler, and Early Espresso. And you guys, those are the colors that made me fall in love with Stampin' Up. The very first workshop I ever did, or the very first time I was ever introduced to, I'm going to use a different pad here, to Stampin' Up, we used Cherry Cobbler, Early Espresso, and Crumb Cake, and I fell in love. So I'm just taking my Versamark ink pad, and I'm just smashing it all over here, right into the stamp. I'm going to angle this a little bit just because it's easier for me actually when I'm just doing this, and I actually do want it angled on the cardstock. So let's see, this, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just gonna come in here and we're gonna lay that down. So the next thing that you can do is I'm gonna take my brayer just to make sure that I'm getting this, all the ink on that, and you just don't want to move this around. This music sheet stamp set is pretty intricate, and if that cardstock moves and then adds another line, you know, if it like moves and like smears a little bit, what's going to happen is it's not going to come out very clear that these are music sheets. So I'm just taking my snappy tray, something that I use for embossing, makes it easy. And I have a little piece of cardstock in there. I'm not great about keeping my embossing powders not tainted. So there's like glitter in here, I'm sure, and I try not to let the colors get mixed, but I'm just not, I'm kind of a messy embossing person. So then we're just going to take a dry brush and we're gonna go ahead and get all of this off. You can kind of hit it and then just clean the edges up. I'm gonna emboss this and I'll be right back. I'm gonna put my heat tool to it and then I'll be right back. Okay, so real quick, you can see where I smashed it down and I kind of, my stamp moved when I was on the paper, and it made it like more, like it smeared it. So you can kind of see the difference. So be careful with that. I'm actually okay with this because we're gonna be covering that side up anyway, so it's actually gonna work out. So what I'm gonna do is take my crumb cake ink. So this is crumb cake cardstock, and I'm going to ink these edges really, really good. Okay, so you can see that I really inked the edges of that cardstock. And the other thing that I'm going to do is very gently here on this side of my ink pad, I am going to rub the edge and rub my edges in here. You want to be careful not to damage your ink pad, but I just really want this color on the edges. The thing about it is I can't have too much ink there. Okay, so this piece of cardstock is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. So I've taken 2 whole inches off of this, or a full, a full 1/2 inch off this piece, so that when I layer this together on my early espresso, I'm gonna have a nice border. I actually think you guys can see that better if I leave this paper down, okay? So the next thing is I've went ahead and I've stamped my Peace on Earth in red, in the Cherry Cobbler red, and I've used my stitched squares framelits to go ahead and cut that out. And then what I did, I used the largest die, and then I did a 3 by 3 inch circle, okay? So that's just what the measurement that layered best with the largest square stitched die. I love those dies. I use my circle ones like crazy. And you can see that it gives you a pretty nice border right there. I definitely had to re-ink my Cherry Cobbler ink pad when I was stamping onto the crumb cake. I feel like it just really sucked up that ink, and I actually re-inked it twice to make sure I had enough ink for it to really pop on that crumb cake. So then from the die set, I've just taken this little deer image right here, and I've cut that out, and we're going to use that, and we're going to layer this together. So I have some baker's twine, some of this Cherry Cobbler thin baker's twine. I'm going to pull a bunch of that off. We'll cut it. I probably am going to be wasting a little bit, but I want to make sure I can tie my bow really nice. So we're going to wrap this around a bunch of times. It would work really nice if you had some other Cherry Cobbler like ribbon. I looked and I just did not have any ribbon, like actual ribbon in the Cherry Cobbler. I have real red, but I really wanted to use the Cherry Cobbler. So I went ahead and I used the baker's twine. I'm bringing that up, and then I'm just going to tie that tight, and then I'll fix my loops, which will be super easy, and we'll trim off the excess. I can fan out my baker's twine, make it look a little bit thicker of an embellishment. And it would be super pretty if you had like a little mini jingle bell to go right there. That would actually look really pretty. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this together. Now I want some foam tape on the back of this. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I stuck a jingle bell on there. I went and I looked to see if I had any little mini jingle bells, and I did. So I stuck one right on there. I have foam on the back of my piece here, and then I'm just going to use some regular adhesive for the Cherry Cobbler piece. We're gonna layer this on here. You can layer it just like this, or you can let it hang off a little bit. I'm gonna layer it just like that. And then what we can do is take our little deer, and I'm just gonna put adhesive on him. You could use a little mini dimensional and pop him up if you wanted, but we'll just put him just like that. And then that is my card, and I really love it. I don't usually love when things are angled, but what gave me that idea is this, to do this stamp right here. Here's the outside. It's not long enough to do across a card of this size, you can see. So I really wanted to do a card in this direction, and so I thought, well, what about just angling it? Like, how would that look? So I don't know, you guys tell me. It's not something that I normally do. Do you guys like it angled like that? And then, of course, I just used a glue dot to stick my little jingle bell on, but you would definitely want to tie that, loop that through the bow if you wanted that on your card. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you head over to my website. The link is below. Head over to my website and check out all of the other great projects that demonstrators have made. And make sure you leave me a comment on my website and let me know how you guys liked the other projects. So I will be back later this week. This would normally be my Monday post. It's going up a little bit early, so you guys will hear back from me on Wednesday. Hope you've had a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed this blog hop, and I will talk to you guys later.